Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabi. I welcome you to Heredity, a self-assessment program. A plant with red flowers is crossed with a white flowered plant of the same species. All the seeds, when grown, produce plants with red flowers. Assuming that flower color is controlled by a single pair of alleles, which allele is dominant and which is recessive? The allele for red-colored flower must be dominant if no white flower appears in the first generation, assuming a very large sample. If a dominant allele for tall plants is represented by the letter D, what letter should represent the corresponding recessive allele? A recessive allele corresponding to D is small d. In cats, the alleles S for short fur is dominant to allele small s for long fur. What is the genotype of the true breeding? Long-furred cat. B. What is the phenotype of a cat with the genotype capital S small s? C. In any capital S small s genotype, which allele is expressed in the phenotype? D. Which of the following genotypes is heterozygous, homozygous dominant? Capital S, capital S, capital S, small s, small s, small s. A. What is the genotype of true breeding long-furred cat? The true breeding long-furred cat has the genotype small s, small s. What is the phenotype of the cat with the genotype capital S, small s? The capital S, small s genotype will produce a short-furred phenotype. In an capital S, small s genotype, which allele is expressed in the phenotype? In an capital S, small s genotype, the dominant allele is capital S will be expressed. Which of the following genotype is heterozygous and homozygous dominant? Capital S, small s is heterozygous. Capital S, small s, capital S is homozygous dominant. In rabbits, assume that the dominant allele B produces black fur. The allele small b for white fur is recessive to B, capital B. A. What color fur will the following rabbits have? Rapid 1, capital B, rapid 2, capital B, small b, rapid 3, small b, capital B, rapid 4, small b, small b. Rabbit 1, capital B, will be black. Rabbit 2 and 3, capital B, small b, capital B, will be black. Rabbit 4, small b, will be white. B. Which of them will breed true? Rabbit 1, capital B, and rabbit 4, small b, will breed true. Which rabbit are homozygous for coat color? Rabbit B capital and rabbit small b are homozygous for coat color. If rabbit 1 and 4 were mated together and had 12 babies, how many of these would you expect to be black? All the 12 babies should be black, as rabbit 1 contributes dominant alleles to all the offsprings. If rabbit 2 and 3 are interbred and produce several litters, totaling to 48 babies, how many white babies would be predicted by the law of genetics? If the heterozygous rabbit, capital B, small b, are mated, you would expect a ratio approximately to 3 black, 1 white baby, e.g. 36 black and 12 white. If rabbit 4 and 3 are mated together and have 50 babies altogether, how many of their babies would be black? Rabbit 4 contributes only recessive alleles, so approximately 50% of the babies should be black and 50 should be white, e.g. 25 of each. The alleles controlling the A, B, O blood groups are given the letter IA, group A, IB, group B, and I, group O. On the drawing below, write in the alleles on the chromosomes for each of the blood groups. The first one has been done for you. Group A has IA or IAI. This one, this is IAI. Group B has I capital B or I capital B I. B. Then group AB has capital A, capital B, and group O has II. In shorthorn cattle, the coat color, red or white, are controlled by a single pair of allele. A calf which receives the allele for red coat from its mother and allele for white coat from its father is called a roan. It has an equal number of red and white hair in its coat. Is this an example of codominance or incomplete dominance? B. Give a reason for your answer. C. Give one example in each case of codominance, incomplete dominance, in humans. A Ron curve exhibits codominance of the two alleles. B. Each allele is fully expressed, i.e., neither allele is dominant. The A, B, O blood groups are examples of codominance of the IA capital and the IB capital alleles. Sickle cell anemia is an example of incomplete dominance. A recessive allele is partially expressed in the heterozygote. Give 3 examples of human disorders which are caused by the action of a single pair of alleles. In each case, say whether the harmful allele is dominant or recessive to the non-harmful allele. Hemophilia, recessive. Albinism, recessive. Phenylketonuria, recessive. Red-green color, blindness, recessive. Single cell anemia, partially recessive. In humans, melanence of femaleness is determined by a pair of sex chromosomes called X and Y. What is the genotype for males? What is the genotype for females? The male genotype is XY. The female genotype is XX. In humans, is it the sperm or the ovum which determines the sex of the offspring? Give reason for your answer. The sperm determines the sex of the offspring. All the ova contain an X chromosome. Half the sperm carry an X chromosome and half carry a Y chromosome. In fruit flies, the allele N for ebony black body is received to allele N for normal gray body. A. Complete the Punnett square for a cross between normal gray-bodied flies which are heterozygous for this allele, capital N, small n genotypes. B. State the expected proportion of normal and ebony-bodied flies in a large sample of offspring. C. State the proportion of the normal phenotype, which would be through breeding. If we have the genotype, capital N, small n, capital N, small n, those are our gametes. Shall get capital N, capital N, capital N, small n, capital N, small n, small n, small n. That's how our Punnett square is going to be filled when we have heterozygotes being mated together. The expected ratio of the phenotype would be approximately 3 normal to 1 ebony. This one will be ebony. State the proportion of the normal phenotype, which would be true breeding. On average, 1/3 of the normal phenotype would be true breeding. Capital N, capital N. When a particular gene is said to be sex-linked, on which chromosome is the gene usually present? A sex-linked gene is usually carried on the X chromosome and is absent from the Y chromosome. The genetic disorder phenylketonuria (PKU) is caused by a recessive allele N. The family tree below shows the incidence of disease over 3 generations. What can you deduce about the genotype of the grandparents? Both grandparents must be heterozygous. N, small n. Explain your reasoning why they are capital N, small n, heterozygous. If either grandparent was homozygous, capital N, the N allele would be dominant in the offspring. The phenylketonuria allele would not be expressed, and none of their children would be affected. Here they have Jane who is affected, meaning that the parents are heterozygous. What is the genotype of Jane's husband? Jane's husband must be a heterozygous, capital N, small n. Why? They have a child who is PKU. Explain your reasoning. If he were homozygous, capital N, all his children would receive a dominant allele and none would exhibit PKU. What are the chances that Peter is the carrier of the PKU allele that resulted in his having an affected son? There is a 50% chance that Peter has inherited the recessive PKU allele from his parents. This would make him a carrier. If Jane had been normal, what are the possible genotypes of the grandparents? If Jane had been normal, the grandparents' genotype would be both capital N, small n, or 1 capital N, and 1 capital N, small n. They could not both have been capital N, or Jane would also have been capital N, and could not have had an affected child. Is it possible that the allele for PKU is sex-linked? If the allele for PKU was sex-linked, the grandparents would not have had an affected daughter. One form of color blindness is a sex-linked inherited condition controlled by a recessive allele. Use the symbols X and Y for the sex chromosome and capital N and small n for the alleles for normal or defective color vision to show the genotypes of a normal male. B, a colorblind male. C, a normal non-carrier female. D, a colorblind female. E, normal carrier female. Genotype of A, normal male, X and Y. B, colorblind male, X small n y. A normal non-carrier female, XNXN. A colorblind female, X small n x small n. A normal carrier female, X capital N X small n. Use the genotype you have written for your answers to question 13 to show the chances of a son being colorblind, a daughter being carrier, resulting from a marriage between a normal man and a carrier woman. A, the chances are 1 to 1 that a boy from this marriage will be colorblind. The chances of carrier daughter are also 1 to 1. If you have a normal male, XNY, a carrier woman, X, N, X, small n. The gametes we have XN and Y, XN, X small n. We shall have a normal daughter, a carrier girl, a normal boy, and a colorblind boy. Hello, thank you very much for participating in Heredity, a self-assessment project. Please do like, share, and subscribe.